You know that feeling when you're working with AI? Like you're just kind of throwing suggestions out there and, well, hoping for the best? Get ready for that to change. The newest wave of AI tools is finally starting to hand the creative controls back to you, the filmmaker. So yeah, let's dive right into this.
No, seriously, just think about that for a second. What if instead of just typing a prompt, you could actually sketch out the exact motion you want to see? I know it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but believe it or not, it is quickly becoming our reality.
And that sci-fi idea is exactly what we're going to look at first. This is a whole new way to direct the action in your AI videos, and it gives us a level of precision that we haven't really had before. So the tool that's making this happen is a brand new feature from the online AI company Higsfield. It's called Higsfield Draw, and the whole idea behind it is just beautifully simple. You draw the action you want, and the AI brings that drawing to life. The process itself is incredibly straightforward, which is awesome. You just start with a still image, you draw an arrow or some kind of shape to show what you want to move and how, then you add a simple text prompt to clarify things, pick your favorite AI video model, and you hit generate. It's really designed to be that easy for anyone to pick up. So, the big question, how well does it actually work? Well, in simple cases, it's honestly pretty impressive. You can take a static photo of a model, draw an arrow pointing right at her, and prompt, splash the person with blue paint. And bam, the AI does exactly that. It totally understands that your drawing is the path for the action. Okay, so what's the secret sauce here? Well, what's most likely happening is that Higsfield isn't directly animating your drawing. What it's actually doing is cleverly translating your drawing and your text into a much more complex text prompt that it then feeds to the AI video model. And you know how you can tell? Sometimes the actual arrow you drew animates right out of the frame at the start of the video. It's a really clever hack, but yeah, it's definitely got its quirks. All right, a paint splash is one thing, but what about a way more complex scene? Multiple characters all doing different things at once. For this test, 3 separate actions were drawn onto this image of these sci-fi Vikings. One's supposed to look at the camera, another one looks at the sky, and the third one draws his sword. This is where we really get to see the tool's limits. And the result? You know what? It mostly works. The AI actually tries to do all 3 things at the same time, which is fantastic. But it's not perfect. If you look closely, the Viking in the back pulls out his sword, but his sheath just vanishes into thin air. It's that classic bit of AI sorcery that just reminds us, hey, these tools are still figuring things out. So directing motion inside a single shot is getting better, for sure. But what about one of the most basic tools in all of filmmaking, the edit? How do we build complex scenes that can actually cut from one shot to another? Well, creators have found this really fascinating workaround to kind of fake an edit within a single generation. They're calling it the cut-to hack. You literally just type the words cut to in your prompt and then describe the new shot you want. It's a clever way to try and force the AI to create an edit point for you. And you can really see where this technique shines and where it totally fails. For a quick cut to a close-up, like in a concept for a soda commercial, it does a surprisingly decent job. But then you ask it to cut from a medium shot to a wide shot, like in this dragon scene, and it all just falls apart. The character's outfit completely changes, her sword turns into this weird lightsaber katana hybrid, and suddenly she's wearing sneakers. So the takeaway here is, use this for tight, quick cuts. Don't expect it to build out a whole new scene. Of course, building a scene isn't just about the visuals. It's also about what you can hear. And with models like Google's V3, we can now generate dialogue right along with our video. And let's be honest, sometimes the stuff it comes up with is just pure gold. But here is the major hurdle for AI filmmakers right now. If you generate 2 different shots of the same character speaking, Google V3 will often give them a slightly different voice or a different tone in each clip. It just completely shatters the illusion of continuity. So the solution, for now anyway, is to use a workflow with a couple of different tools. You generate your video with the dialogue in V3, then you take that audio and you run it through a dedicated voice cloning tool like 11 Labs. Using its speech-to-speech feature, you can lock in one single, consistent voice for your character across the entire scene. All right, so you've generated your shots, you've fixed your audio, now it is time for that final polish. Let's talk about getting your images looking sharp, clean, and totally professional. In what was a surprisingly quiet release, Adobe just rolled out a new AI image upscaler right inside of Photoshop. It's called Generative Upscale. It lets you blow up an image's size by up to 4 times, but it does have a hard cap at 4096 pixels, which is basically 4K. So it's convenient, but is it any good? Well, when you put it to the test against the other big tools out there, the results are pretty clear. Adobe's tool tends to give this plasticky and synthetic look. Midjourney's upscaler makes people look like wax figures. For the best all-around balance of quality and just ease of use, Topaz Gigapixel is still the champ, giving you really realistic results. But if you want the absolute best quality, especially for something like a print project, a multi-step process where you add textures before you upscale, that's what gives you the most lifelike detail. So we've seen new ways to direct, new ways to edit, new ways to finish our AI creations. But what's truly staggering, really, is the speed at which this entire creative ecosystem is evolving. Just to get a handle on the kind of speed we're talking about, look at this timeline. Just last week, the world was completely blown away by Google announcing Genie 3, a tool that lets you generate interactive 3D worlds from a prompt. Okay, then this week, an open-source alternative called Metrics Game 2.0 dropped, and it does something very similar. Now look, is the open-source version as polished and perfect as Google's? No, of course not. But that's not even what's important here. The real story is that the development cycle for these incredible tools is now measured in days and weeks, not months or years. The moment a big company announces some groundbreaking proprietary tool, you can bet the open source community is already building its own version. The pace is just not slowing down. So, what does this all mean for you as a creator? Well, it means your role is shifting. You're becoming less of a hands-on technician and more of an AI creative director. You're the one selecting the right tool for the right job, combining their strengths, and guiding this whole suite of powerful assistants to bring your vision to life. I mean, think about it. We've gone from simple text prompts to literally drawing motion, faking edits, and perfecting our final image with this ever-growing toolkit. All the old barriers to creation are just falling away one by one. And that leaves us with only one real question. With more control than ever before, what story are you going to tell?